Sweetest freaking cat I've ever met in my life. Sorry, peace.
Don't you wanna have fun? Fool around someone.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Tamika. This is Church, who said he needs to give all of the attention right now. So we are going to be talking about our favorite toxic romances. Church is obviously going to help me because he is my trusty assistant today and he loves toxic romances. Obviously, if you could not tell already, my little baby here. And we also want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Annalise. So Annalise is a sustainable jewelry brand that their goal is to create sustainable and affordable jewelry. They are carbon neutral and they use recycled materials in order to create really high quality pieces of jewelry that are very good for the earth and also good for your wallet. They are currently doing a huge Mother's Day sale where all of their jewelry is even more discounted than it normally is. And I don't know how to tell you all how much I love Annalise without just letting you all see the amount of jewelry from them that I consistently wear. They sent me a couple new pieces. They sent me these two rings and a new pair of earrings. I still have in a pair of earrings they sent me last time and one of their necklaces. I absolutely love their jewelry and I am consistently wearing it all the time. If you all watch any of my vlogs, you know that I am consistently wearing Ana Luisa jewelry and I absolutely love them so much. I genuinely would buy this for my mother and I honestly probably will be purchasing some of it for my mom to give to her on Mother's Day. I love Ana Luisa, as I've said 1,000 times. They have the most beautiful, simple jewelry at a affordable and great price. It is great to pair with literally any aesthetic, and I say this as someone who has a very different aesthetic. This jewelry just works with everything. I absolutely love it and I cannot recommend it enough. If you want to go down in my description and grab my link, you can click it down below and that will get you to the website and you can shop the sale. I am very excited to be working with Ana Luisa and I just hope you all love their jewelry as much as I do. All right, let's talk about my favorite toxic romances. I got this idea from Naima and Jess because they both also did this video and I have been sitting on it for a little while now and I keep meaning to do it and I'm just finally at a point where I'm like, you know what, we're just gonna sit down and talk about our favorite toxic romances. I do have a little list that I want to talk from. I love toxic romances. It's not healthy, we all know this, but as we all have discussed multiple times, romances are fiction, like fiction books, and I feel like it is very easy for us to say, you know, this is something that I love in a book. Do not do it to me in real life. Not put up with this in like a real life situation. And I feel like it's okay. We can enjoy those things in books, call them out, whatever we want to do. But these are toxic romances that I love. So in some way, there's a toxic element, whether it is the tropes used or the relationship type or the two characters, the way they interact with one another. Something about this is toxic. And I love it. So the first one I want to talk about, I just want an excuse to talk about this series because it has been so long since I talked about it and I loved it. It was so good. This is a series by Lexi Ryan. This is called Lost in Me. This is the first book. This is 3 books and essentially you're not getting a full HEA until the end of the series. It is a cliffhanger series and this is following our heroine who really struggles with her body image and her relationship with 2 different men. She is in a love triangle and you have no idea who she is supposed to be with and like what's truly going on and both sides of the story. And the reason you don't know that is because there is a mystery element because she does have amnesia. Someone has pushed her down the stairs and she has lost all her memories, including who she is and essentially the last year and a half of her life, and you are uncovering all of the things that had happened to her within that last year and a half. The reason this one is so toxic is because of the love triangle element. She is 100% trying to figure out who she has been with and who she's dating and the double life she has been living for the last year and a half, and she is going back and forth between both of the men, and it is a very unhealthy situation because the entire time you don't know if she's cheating on them or not. You have no idea until the end of it when it's all revealed, and in general, I just say cheating is a very toxic thing within relationships. It's a very toxic thing just to read about. Generally, I don't like the cheating trope. And in this one, you don't know if she's cheating or not. You don't really know. And she's got this love triangle between these two, and she's doing the do I want this one or do I want this one game? Or, you know, as she finds out more, she's like, well, do I really want this person or do I want this person? Or is this person who I really think they are? Or who is this person who they say they are? It's very, very back and forth. And it is just in general a very gripping and compelling story. I absolutely love this series. It is so fantastic and I just adore it. It is very toxic. It is very back and forth. There is a lot of things in here that are just like, nope, not for me. But in this book, it works. I also want to talk about Sorted by Nikki Sloan, which is a very, I don't even know how to describe this. I read Sorted for the Taboo Book Club because this was a book with non-consent and dubious consent. The opening scene on this one is a girl being sexually assaulted. She says no to the guy and he is just like, nah, we're gonna do it anyway. He assumes that she is giving dubious consent and that she is saying she doesn't want it even though she does, but we are in her head. She does not want it. It is non-con. Their relationship from the jump is so toxic and so unhealthy because he literally rapes her. So essentially she comes to, she's like, I'm going to tell everyone you raped me. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm not doing this. And instead of being like, oh man, I raped this girl, he's like, I'm a kidnapper. And he kidnaps the girl and takes her back to his house and keeps her as his captive. He convinces himself that he is doing the right thing and he is taking care of her, but his father would actually have her murdered if it wasn't for him. But like, regardless, it is a very weird premise, very weird idea, very something going on there. He literally, there's non-con throughout, you know, the first half, and then there's a lot of dubious consent because he forces her to have a sexual relationship with him even though she doesn't really want it. It is a, do I want this, do I not want this? It's a captor-captive. This is not a healthy situation. This is not something that where you go in and you're like, oh man, this is so beautiful. This is the most beautiful thing I've ever read in my entire life. Like, these characters are so sweet. This is so precious. You know, this is a relationship I want. It's absolutely not. You don't want to be sexually assaulted and then taken captive and fall in love with your captor. That's not what you want to happen. He does hold her underwater and like almost drowned her at one point. He assaults her multiple occasions. But there's just something about it. Just something about that premise. Something about the idea where I'm just like, you know, I love this. Then we have one I don't ever shut up about, that is Whispers in the Dark. This is a, God, I don't even know how you describe this. This is a captor-captive book. This is a horror book with an HEA. Let's put it that way. I'm gonna give you the most non-spoilery description that I can. Essentially, we are following a girl who gets kidnapped. She is taken as she's going to school. And the kidnapper is a horrible dude. He kidnaps her for his son, but his son shows too much weakness, so he can't give her to his son. He rapes her and abuses her. There is forced miscarriage. There is murder in front of her eyes. Like, she is tortured. Like, this is just, girl's just, she's gone through it, right? And the dad believes that all women are toys for him to use and to use as he sees fit and to play with as he wants. And that's essentially how he's raising his son. But there are serial killers in here, and it's a relationship between her and the son. Their relationship, very toxic. Very unhealthy from the jump. She uses the son to get out. Be warned going in. So many things happening here. Be patient with yourself if this is a hard one to read, because it's a lot. I loved it. One of my favorite books of the year when I read it, but it's a lot. Then we have His by Aubrey Dark. This is a serial killer romance. I don't want to marry a serial killer. I don't want to marry a serial killer. I don't want to be taken captive by a serial killer. I do not want to be tortured by a serial killer, but I love reading it. I love reading it. This is literally about a girl who gets taken captive by a serial killer because she witnesses him killing someone. I'm not saying that I want to go and find a serial killer and watch them kill someone and then them take me captive and then them fall in love with me. Especially not if her name is Rhea Ripley. Especially not if she's a beautiful masked woman. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is that this book was so interesting. And I love the idea of a serial killer getting love. I don't know why. Listen, I don't know. Maybe it's the horror loving heart in me. Maybe it's the fact that we don't want serial killers to get a happily ever after. So like my brain is like, well, now I have to have them have it. I don't know what it is. But it's such a toxic situation. Who says, let's just fall in love with a serial killer? Let's just do that today. Like that's what I'm deciding we're gonna do. And then she does it. I mean, literally gets taken captive by a serial killer. She goes to his house, watches him commit a murder, and then he holds her captive. And he's like, you know, instead of killing you, you have to fall in love with me so I don't have to kill you because I don't want to kill you. And that's the situation. He's just like, you know, instead of killing you like I could do, I'm gonna make you fall in love with me. All I'm saying is if Rhea Ripley held me hostage and told me that I had no choice but to fall in love with her, I'd be like, baby, I'm already there. Let me sign the papers. What we doing? Like, I'm not saying Rhea Ripley's a serial killer, but I am saying if Rhea Ripley was a serial killer, she could take me captive and I would be very happy. The last two that I want to talk about are ones I talk about quite a lot. I still wanted to bring them up, and that's Vibe and Hush by Liza James. I don't know how you all would expect me to not talk about dark sapphic romances, but here I am. Both of these are very toxic. These are involving cults. Lots of trigger warnings. We've got our first one following a stripper and her love interest, Ruby and Ara. I think it's Ara. She cheats on her boyfriend with Ruby, and Ruby is a stripper, and they're very not nice to each other. They're very mean to one another. There's dubcon, there's knife play, and they fight each other at every turn, and they don't like each other. Well, Ruby doesn't like Ara because Ara has a boyfriend. And it's just the whole thing. But then the other two, oh my god, the other two, Callie and Kay, these babies, like these two, toxic. Don't even, like, you do not want to be in a relationship like these two have. They hate each other. They are not even enemies. They are like the worst of enemies. Like they absolutely loathe the other. And it's because they have a history with one another, and it's because one of them raped the other one. So we have one that's literally dealing with sexual assault and trauma because she was raped by her best friend, who she was in love with. And now they work together, and they're like both trying to like take down this cult that's happening throughout the course of this series. You're trying to take down the cult and all this stuff, and they're all getting like dragged into it. And all I'm gonna say, these two books in this series are just, Liza just goes there with how dark it is. And I'm not mad about it. And then one more, just for the fun of it, is Hooked. This is a dark Peter Pan retelling, which I absolutely loved. Essentially, we have Peter and Captain Hook and Wendy. Peter and Wendy, that's, Wendy is Peter's daughter. Peter did something really bad to Hook's family, and Hook is trying to get revenge. So his idea of doing that is to make Peter's daughter like fall in love with him and then take her captive and essentially ruin her so that he can get revenge on the dad. Definitely not a relationship you want to be in. Definitely don't want to fall for a guy who then like is like, you know, I'm gonna ruin your life because your dad pissed me off. Also, our hero, touch her and you die. He will end your life for her, and I'm not mad about it. So those are all the toxic romances that I wanted to talk about today. I love these romances. I love toxic romance. Hi, I love dark romance. How are you? I will not apologize for my love of dark romance. I will not apologize for my love of toxic romances because it's just who I am as a person. So yeah. I want to once again thank Ana Luisa for sponsoring today's video. If you all are interested in getting any of their jewelry, go ahead and click my link down in my description. I love Ana Luisa. Their stuff is absolutely fantastic, and genuinely would not tell y'all to go get it if I didn't love it as much as I do. So I will see you all in my next video. If you are still here, leave me a little piggy emoji down in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye everyone.
Don't you wanna have fun? Don't you wanna have some fun?
Yeah, this baby said that they don't got a future like